The year 2025 began with a wave of unprecedented hope for Indonesian football. Ambitions were soaring, and expectations were higher than ever. The National Football Federation, PSSI, and fans across the nation looked to the future with incredible optimism. After years of struggling on the Asian and world stages, there was a genuine belief that the Garuda team could finally make its mark. A major reason for this optimism was the appointment of Patrick Kluivert, the former Dutch superstar, as the new head coach of the national team. His arrival was more than just a coaching change. It was a powerful statement. Indonesia was no longer content with just participating. It was ready to compete at a higher level. Pundits and media celebrated his appointment, believing his European experience and vast network would transform the team's tactics, mentality, and overall quality. The nation buzzed with one question: could this be the moment Indonesia finally breaks through in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers? This new era was also marked by the inclusion of talented diaspora players and a fresh, holistic approach to building the team. The atmosphere was electric with possibility. But grand ambitions must always face the test of reality. The ultimate goal was to qualify for the 2026 World Cup, which had expanded to 48 teams, theoretically giving nations like Indonesia a better chance. However, the path was never going to be easy. The Asian qualifying group was fiercely competitive, filled with formidable opponents. While the Garuda squad showed promising signs of progress in some matches, they struggled to maintain momentum. The team's performance was inconsistent, and soon tough questions began to surface. Was the massive overhaul under Kluivert enough? Or were the challenges from player adaptation and tactical adjustments to the immense public pressure simply too much to handle? It became clear that hope alone wouldn't be enough to overcome the deep-rooted hurdles in the system. The turning point came with a decisive, painful defeat. In a crucial match held in Jeddah, the Indonesian National Team lost to Iraq, a result that officially ended their dream of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. This loss was more than just a scoreline. It was the shattering of a nationwide dream. For fans, analysts, and the Federation, it became the final verdict on Kluivert's tenure. The immense expectations that had been built up over months came crashing down. Consequently, on October 16, 2025, PSSI announced that the contract with Patrick Kluivert had been terminated by mutual agreement. The official statement spoke of open and respectful discussions, but the underlying reason was clear to everyone. The failure to meet the lofty targets had led to this dramatic end. The news of Kluivert's dismissal sent shockwaves through the national football scene. The same fans who had been filled with so much enthusiasm now voiced their frustration and disappointment across social media and in fan forums. Some felt betrayed, while others argued the Federation's decision came too late. Inside PSSI, this moment triggered a strategic reset. The conversation shifted from simply who the next coach would be to how the entire system could be improved. How could they reform youth development? How could they ensure the National League was stronger? And importantly, how could fans become part of the solution, not just sideline critics? We saw federation officials meeting with supporter groups, listening to their concerns and aspirations. A new dialogue was beginning to form, one that asked whether fans could move beyond just demanding immediate results and instead support the long, patient process of building a truly competitive team. So, why did this highly anticipated transformation fail to deliver? Several factors were at play. Firstly, the adaptation process for both the coach and the players was a significant hurdle. Kluivert brought a wealth of European experience, but coaching a national team like Indonesia involves more than just tactics. It requires cultural understanding and seamless communication. On the pitch, players often looked hesitant, as if they were not yet comfortable with the new system. This is a natural part of any transition, but in a high-pressure environment, there was little time for patience. Secondly, building a cohesive team takes time. Integrating diaspora players, young talents, and local league stars into a single, unified squad is a complex process. Developing chemistry and a winning mentality doesn't happen overnight. The immense public pressure was another critical factor. With the media providing constant, intense coverage and fans expecting rapid success, the psychological burden on the players and coaching staff was enormous. Furthermore, we can't ignore the long-standing structural weaknesses in Indonesian football, such as underdeveloped youth academies and inadequate infrastructure. A top-down transformation can only succeed if the foundation is strong. Finally, in high-stakes qualifiers, momentum is everything. A single loss can derail an entire campaign. The team struggled to bounce back from setbacks, and as the chances of qualification slipped away, drastic measures became inevitable. Kluivert's departure has profound implications for the future of Indonesian football. It's a lesson that goes far beyond the choice of the next coach. PSSI must now rethink its long-term strategy. The focus needs to shift from short-term results to building a sustainable system. This means strengthening the roots of the sport, investing in youth development, improving local coaching standards, and upgrading facilities. Only with a solid foundation can Indonesia consistently compete at a high level. This experience also serves as a crucial lesson in managing expectations. While ambition is vital, it must be balanced with realism. Building a winning culture is a marathon, not a sprint. The media and fans also have a role to play in understanding that true progress takes time and patience. Transparent communication from the Federation is key to maintaining public trust during this rebuilding phase. And perhaps the most important takeaway is that changing a coach is not a magic solution. Real, lasting change requires addressing the fundamental, structural issues that have held Indonesian football back for years. Despite the deep disappointment, this is not the end of the story for Indonesian football. Kluivert's dismissal is not a final failure, but a moment for recalibration. New opportunities are already emerging from the ashes. PSSI has stated they won't rush into appointing a successor, giving them time to define the exact criteria needed for the next coach, whether it's another foreign expert or a local coach who deeply understands the Indonesian football culture. While the World Cup dream is over for now, there are other important tournaments on the horizon. Regional championships and youth competitions can serve as valuable stepping stones, allowing the team to rebuild confidence and test new strategies. This is a chance to rewrite the narrative. The pain of this failure can become a powerful motivator, challenging everyone involved to prove that Indonesia can rise again and become a consistent force in Asian football. The role of the supporters will be more critical than ever. If they can channel their passion constructively, transforming from critics into steadfast allies, their support can become a formidable force for positive change. In the end, Indonesian football stands at a critical crossroads. The saga of Patrick Kluivert is a symbol of a long journey that is far from over. It showed us the dizzying heights of hope and the crushing weight of reality. The great dream was there, but it became clear that a true transformation cannot be rushed. If there's one lesson to take away, it's this. Great change requires a strong foundation, not just a new name on the coach's bench. This is a moment for evaluation, not just another dramatic chapter. For the fans, the media, the players, and the federation, the task is now to unite, maintain focus, and build together. Because a true revival doesn't come from a single, spectacular decision, but from a series of consistent, hard-working, and patient steps forward. Here's hoping Indonesian football finds a new narrative, one that is more stable, more mature, and ultimately, more successful. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this analysis, please like, share, and subscribe for more content.